This segment from Matt Walsh has got everybody upset. It's got 30,000 likes. I haven't seen it, so let's see what he says.
The mob that tried unsuccessfully.
They're calling him woke right now, by the way, for whatever it is that he said here.
To cancel Shiloh Hendricks was far more outraged over Shiloh saying the N-word than they were over Carmelo Anthony stabbing somebody to death. Indeed, many of them actively supported Carmelo Anthony murdering Austin Metcalf.
That's true.
They rewarded him financially for it. And this is all part of the preposterous racial double standard that has defined American culture for generations now. It is a double standard that declares it a greater crime for a white person to say a word than for a black person to kill a white person. In fact, killing a white person could even be a just punishment for saying that word, according to these standards.
Yep.
No lies detected. So far, 100% agree.
The rules surrounding this word, the moral weight granted to it, the arbitrary guidelines drawn around it, it's all nonsense. It's all indefensible on both moral and intellectual grounds. People are fed up with it. That's what you're seeing in this story. People are just fed up with it. Now, that child, if he's like the average black child in this country, did not hear the N-word for the first time from a white woman at the park last week.
Exactly.
Yeah, correct.
Okay? He's no doubt heard it thousands of times. He likely hears it every day. He probably hears it in his own home.
Yep.
Are we supposed to believe that he's heard the word 1,000 times, but it's time 1,001 that really traumatized him?
Yep.
I mean, the idea that the
Are we supposed to also still believe that this kid is 5 years old and autistic?
For real.
You know, like that. There is no evidence that he's 5 years old. There's no evidence.
This tall.
Right. He's clearly he's. If he's 5, okay. If he's 5, then he is in the 0.001 percentile.
Exactly. And then this whole autistic thing. Look, I know a lot of autistic people and none of them are thieves. So I didn't realize thievery was supposed to be some side effect of autism because I've yet to see that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
word is a common greeting for one race, but unspeakably evil if uttered by a different race is laughably ridiculous. The idea that one race can say the word 10,000 times a day and the other race cannot speak the syllables under any circumstance, even if they're just repeating what someone else said or singing along to a rap song, that idea, again, is totally indefensible, which is why no one has ever tried to defend it. Instead, it's just yet another, racial rule of the road that we're supposed to follow without ever asking any questions about it or expecting anyone to explain it or justify it. People are sick of that. Right. It's just that simple. They are sick of it. Now, it is simple. If it's wrong to say the word, then it's wrong for anyone to say it.
Exactly.
If black people want white people to not say the word, then they need to not say it.
Right.
If you say it, everyone else can say it. Point blank, it's that simple.
I agree.
That's how life works. Deal with it. No, you can't do that. You can't say, well, no, we can do this thing, but you can't. Doesn't work that way.
Nope.
It does not work that way. Well, it did work that way for a long time. It was indefensible, and it's just not going to work that way anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Right.
And no matter who is saying it, it's not any worse than any other slur or vulgarity. It's not special. The word is not magical. It's not some kind of mystical curse.
It is magical because I think that the black community assigns weight to it. The only people that give that word power are black folks. They control how they react to it, and they don't have to spurg out and kill people. It's pretty simple to not do that.
Is when we speak out against these things and say, hey, it's just a word. Why are people getting all worked up because of a word? Things have gotten ridiculous. Then they're like, oh, if it's just a word, then why don't you say it? It's because black people will threaten to kill me.
Yeah, right. Because I don't want to die. Thank you.
Exactly. So can we talk about how the problem isn't so much the word, it's the response to people saying the word? And again, just like Matt Walsh said here, if if they want that to be an off limits word, then they need to stop saying it, and they need to stop putting it in their music and mainstream music and this, that, and the other. Otherwise, you just don't have any room to talk on this to where you can say, hey, we're going to say this word constantly and we're going to have it in media constantly, but white people specifically aren't allowed to say it. I don't think so.
Yeah, that's over.
It's not some kind of dark incantation that conjures evil spirits from the netherworld.
Exactly.
It's just a word. It's a vulgar word. It's a rude word. It's a word that I believe polite people shouldn't say for the same reason they shouldn't use any other vulgarity. I'm using N-word right now instead of saying the actual word for the same reason that I would say F-word or C-word instead of those actual words. Those are vulgar words, but that's all. The reflexive, indefensible, capricious, vacillating racial double standards are over. People are fed up with them. They are fed up with the game and they don't want to play it anymore.
Yep.
And that's all that this word has become. That's all that our quote unquote race relations have become.
Yep.
A game. Mm-hmm. A game with arbitrary rules and incredibly excessive punishments for anyone who breaks them. It's like the societal equivalent of a child, trying to walk on the sidewalk without stepping on a crack. Eventually the kid gets bored with it, starts walking normally again, because it turns out that if you step on a crack, you're not really going to break your mother's back. The rules are fake. And eventually people get tired of following them. Telling white people and white people only that they can't combine two specific syllables under any circumstance, it's like telling them they can't touch their head unless someone says Simon Says. Okay? They're not going to play the game forever.
Yeah.
White guilt is the fuel that keeps all this going. White guilt is what convinces white people to follow arbitrary rules that make no sense, to tolerate, even defend a system that's rigged against them with blatant double standards. It's what's compelled white people to acquiesce to a culture that says that, every race can and should defend and root for their own, but white people, and white people only, should not be conscious of their race.
He's on the line here with Daily Wire. Like, everything he's saying is 100% true, and people are becoming a little bit more open to saying, hey, how come there can be black pride but not white pride?
Yeah.
How come there can be... Now, I think I don't ascribe with tribalism at all, so I think black pride is cringe, just like white pride is cringe. Just because you're white doesn't mean you're good, but I do acknowledge that there is a double standard that every other race on Earth can have their, they can have racial, ideology, except white people. And for what Matt Walsh has said here, which is, nothing wrong. I'll let him finish here, but now they're like, oh, Matt's woke right. It's like, what?
Anybody who's pretending like anything he is saying here is some woke right thing are just anti-common sense, because he just does a phenomenal, excellent job at taking concepts and breaking them down with as much common sense as possible. So if you refute what he's saying here, you are refuting just downright common sense.
Yeah. Somebody said, this is why 3 of my podcasts don't carry clips from the quartering anymore. Go hard or lose more audience. What are you even talking about? What? First of all, if you have 3 podcasts and you need clips from me for all of them, consider making some of your own content. And second of all, I'm cool.
Race at all. None of it is fair or morally coherent. And the Carmelo Anthony case, where a black teen raked in $500,000 as a reward for stabbing a white kid to death, was, for a lot of people, the final straw. The final straw of many, many straws. It is no surprise that the Shiloh Hendricks case comes on the heels of that.
Right, of course. Yeah.
A lot of people online are fretting that this is the beginning of some kind of race war. But I don't think it's a race war, and it's certainly not the beginning.
The race war has been going on for years. It's just that one group in it hasn't been paying attention.
Yeah,
there's been a war waged on whiteness for a long time.
There you go. Country. Yeah, you see, it just said it. Yeah.
So this cannot be the beginning of anything, but it may be the end of something. The end of racial double standards. The end of cancel culture. This is an ugly story in a lot of ways. But if history has shown us anything, it's that ugly things die ugly deaths.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's... there's nothing wrong in what he's saying. There's obviously a double standard.
There is.
It's not like I feel constricted by not being able to go around calling people,
Right.
racial slurs. I don't care. That doesn't do anything for me. But look, if someone calls me a racial slur, I should get to call them a racial slur back. That's the rules. But I shouldn't get them fired from their job and
Yep.
have CPS called on them and their kids or take their life, which is what has happened dozens and dozens of times. I covered this story the other day. I don't know if you saw it, but a young black man who was a manager at a Dunkin' Donuts, so probably had a decent job, had some 75-year-old white guy call him the N-word. His response to this wasn't to ban him from the store. It was to kill him.
Oh.
That man got 2 years house arrest. He didn't even go to prison. And the judge specifically cited the extenuating circumstances of the trial. Now,
Wow.
he punched him, and as a 30-year-old man punching an elderly man,
Right.
the elderly man fell down and cracked his head open on the ground and died. So the judge
Wow.
is essentially saying, well, he only punched him, and he did say the N-word.
Oh my.
I'd be willing to bet that the judge was white too. No, like this is not, no, you don't get to put your hands on somebody for a word. That is a rule that every other race on the planet has had to live by. There is no word that white people get to take your life for if you call them. There's no word that is generally accepted. For Mexicans even. If you call them the Hispanic word, the short version of that, or you say, is one of the other terms, they don't get to take your life, and that's not accepted by the media.
In my experience, they laugh. Like I've had Latinos like wanting me to say it so they can laugh.
Right. Yeah.
I've never seen them get so offended or worked up over slurs.
You're probably more likely if you call them Latinx.
I know they like that less.
Yeah. Like. So I mean, I think he's right to now go after him and be like, oh, he's awoke right now. If you look at a lot of the quote tweets, a lot of these are these woke right dorks. Like, what about what he said makes him quote unquote woke
what's the
right?
problem? Can you get what is it that you're trying to debunk here? That's the thing is, I think when it comes to like the N-word specifically, when you think of back in the day when black people weren't saying it either, and if nobody was saying it except for people who were just
genuinely
trying to be hurtful and racist, then we can say, oh, that's messed up. Well, then what ended up happening was, oh, we're going to reclaim that word. We're going to say it all the time now. Then if you keep saying it, then you just then you can't say, oh, well, I can say it constantly. I can put it in music. I can do this, but nobody else can say it. Look, you've already reclaimed your word. Look at what happened with the B word against women. Used to, that was like, oh, okay, this is terrible. But it used to be actually known as a slur, and now everybody says it. Guess
Other
what?
girls call each other that. Yeah,
girls call each other that. Everybody says that almost, and it's like, I don't care. Like,
predictably, by the way, the black community is reacting exactly like you would expect. Don't be scared. Go find the biggest, strongest, scariest black man you know and call him the N-word straight to his face. Don't be a coward. So they're basically saying the truth. Like,
they are,
we will take your life over this word. We have black fragility. Here's James Lindsay.
And they're telling us what the real issue here is, because they're like, oh, well, if it's just a word. Well, the issue is that black people will try to kill you or hurt you if you say a word. So the word isn't the problem. It's the people who want to hurt you for saying it.
Here's James Lindsay again. What you're seeing here is a technique that should be called recruiting on the third rail. Radical movements, including the woke right. Look at his response to this.
How is that radical? It's common sense.
It's very, very normal.
Good grief, he's off base with this one. Like, I agree with some things he says, but this, bro.
Yeah.